afternoon, and welcome to Halifax Cablevision's coverage of the Provincial AAA Boys High School Championship Final between the defending champs, Queen Elizabeth High Lions of Halifax, and the Halifax West Warriors, also of Halifax. I'm Mike McDonald, and I'll be your play-by-play commentator, and with me to do the color commentating is St. Mary's basketball coach Gary Heel. Gary, give us some thoughts on this game. You've seen the whole tournament, and
well, this has been a really exciting tournament, Mike. Last night, I think some people might have been disappointed in the Halifax West Windsor game, but Halifax West just simply destroyed them. They came out strong and never looked back. I think it was about a 30-point game, but there's been a lot of interesting games, and I think we got the two best teams over the whole year. They played the most consistent basketball. QE, of course, has proven time and time again it's one of the top teams in the country and certainly deserve the #1 ranking. Halifax West all year long has played tough. They lost a couple ball games here and there along the line, but they're a very difficult team to beat, and I think that they're going to be ready. They're playing well in this tournament. They play well in both ball games, so it's a classic matchup. We got the two best teams and a lot of great athletes out here, and it's going to be an exciting game.
the game has all the elements of being a great one, Gary, and I think everyone here is going to get their money's worth this afternoon. Both teams seem to be set. As you mentioned, both teams having good games throughout the tournament. QE arriving here by beating Horton in the quarterfinals and beating St. Patrick's in the semifinals by 8 points, I believe, 82-74 in the first semifinal, and West beating Windsor by 30 points or so. So, as you say, they were tough last night, and I think they need to have that alertness and be on top of their game to be with QE.
Yes, I think that we might mention that St. Pat's finished third in this tournament by beating Windsor today, and I think that they came on here at the end of the year and earned that third position because they played excellent basketball in this tournament. They lost to QE by 8, but it was a very good ball game. QE played well, they played well. QE just had a few more horses than they did, and you have to give Hugh McDonald and his crew a lot of credit. They had a great year.
Yes, it's a good finish for the Irish. I believe they finished at 27-11, and as you say, Gary, a very good tournament for them. So we're all set to go here with the introductions. The officials for tonight's game, Rod Shoveler and Wendell Scare.
I mentioned that Rod Shoveler is recipient of an award last night, and a very nice one at that.
First, non-starter for Halifax West, number 20, Rob O'Driscoll. Number 22, Mike Tierney. Number 31, Brian Johnson. Number 45, John Sullivan. And number 40, Leon Burnford.
Crowd are into this already, Coach.
Yes, it's going to be, it already is a packed house. I don't know where they're going to put anybody else.
And number 42, Mike Dunbar.
That's a change in their lineup. Dunbar is starting in front of Dion Durnford. I think he thinks he needs a little more size in the game tonight.
There will be, no doubt, Coach, a lot of coaching chess moves by both Coach Douglas and Coach Morash.
Well, there's been a change here. Dion Durnford has gone back now, and I think he's going to be one of the starters for Halifax West. They introduced him earlier, and I don't think that, I think that was a mistake.
Number 50, Robin Hicks. And number 55, Brian Gross. The starting lineup for the Halifax West Warriors.
teams well represented by their fans, Gary.
Yes, they certainly are. Dean Durnford, the big boy, had a great game last night.
Jay Hammer's really come on as a player, Coach.
Yes, he certainly has. Still growing, too.
Now for the defending provincial champions. Chris Mantley's had a great year, Coach. Didn't get a lot of numbers, but he's the motor on the team.
Well, QE has got so many great players, it's hard to really pick out anyone, isn't it?
Bobby Douglas and Nick Morash shaking hands. And we're all set to go, Coach.
Yes, we got two veteran officials doing this game, so the stage is set, the packed house and the veteran officials and two great teams. I don't know how it could get much better.
Halifax West is a tall team. Every one of their starters is over 6 foot, I think, Coach.
Yes, they don't have the real big man like I think Dean Durnford's around 6'5", which is pretty good size, but they've got a team at their overall size, and they come off the bench with a couple of guys that are over 6 feet too, so they don't have any let up in the size department. If they got a weakness, it might be in their ball handling.
We're set to jump center with Tom McCutcheon for the West Warriors and Dwayne LeBeau for the QE Lions. Tap control by LeBeau. Wilson. Mantley with the ball. Off to Smith in the corner. He drives. It's up. And he cans a 12-footer from the top of the key.
And Halifax West playing a man-to-man defense to start the game on.
And pressure already by the QE Lions.
QE is coming out with a pressing defense right off the bat, so we're going to see the coaching strategy right in the first few moments of the game.
And that resulted in a turnover for QE. Mantley with the ball. Into the corner. Smith. They're working the ball outside. West back into a zone, I think, Coach.
Yes, on the out-of-bounds play, they go into a 2-3 zone.
Smith in and out from 15 feet. Scramble for the ball. Augie Jones comes up with it. 2-0 Lions in the early going. Into Smith. And Smith puts in a layup. And we have a charge on the play. Charge on Wade Smith, but no basket.
That was kind of a tough call. He really went to the basket hard, but I guess he must have made contact before he shot the ball.
Rowers with the ball. Jay Hammer working against the QE pressure, and it's heavy pressure. And we have a foul. And that swarming defense of QE's.
That was another tough call. Gee, the ball was up for grabs there, and both guys went by it. So the referees are going to call it very, very close, and right now it's a 2-point ball game.
Hammer inbounds the ball to Rowarth.
QE's gone back into a 2-3 zone.
Jay Hammer from the corner. He ties the game at 2. Nice pass from Roark. Down come the Lions. Mantley to Jones. Top of the key to Smith. He puts in shoots a 15-footer. Gets his own rebound. Followed that shot nicely. And we have a foul inside. Good aggressive ball, coached by Wade Smith. He followed his shot.
Yes, I don't think Wade's a pretty cool customer. He usually doesn't get too excited about anything, but he certainly is up for this game tonight because he was at least 3 feet off the floor in that last one. Some very aggressive play, a good matchup in there between Jason Wilson and Dean Dunford right now. They're both very strong individuals, and they're leaning on each other. It's a good matchup.
So they'll be fighting for position probably throughout the game, Coach, inside.
Well, unless one of them gets in foul trouble, they will.
And Smith misses the second shot. Makes the first. We have a jump foul situation. Jason Wilson going up against Dion Durnford. And you can just sense the intensity, the way the players are scrambling for position around that jump foul key.
Yes, everybody wants that spot closest to the basket. I really don't, I think that's overemphasized. I don't think that's that important, really, but some coaches seem to think it is.
West inbound the ball. Dion Durnford. Tough pressure by QE. Man-to-man, full court. McCutcheon with the ball. Spins, dribbles. Down. McCutcheon with the ball. Into Dean Durnford. Back to McCutcheon. And he lays it in.
Well,
Tough hoop, Coach.
yes, it was a very nice move down the baseline. 4-3, Halifax West leads it.
Wilson in on the baseline. Puts up an 8-footer, and it's down. Nice fall-away shot by Jason Wilson.
Yes, the cream of the crop has come into the top right here. Jason Wilson, just probably one of the best players that's ever played.
And a turnover. Augie Jones knocking that loose pass away. And that's 2 early turnovers for West. They can't afford them. Into Laval. Save. Nice save by Chris Roark. Showing some athletic ability on that one. Roark into the center of the key, driving. And he's fouled. Fouled in the paint by Dwayne Laval, I think, Coach.
I'm not sure who that was on, but it might have been on Wade Smith. But we haven't got any indication. Yes, they did call it on Wade. That was a tough call. Again, every one of these calls are very close because the action is very intense out there.
Roark on the line.
He has great concentration on the foul line. Boy, he really zeroes in on what his job is up there.
5-5 tie. He makes the second. Halifax West Warriors up 6-5 over the Queen Elizabeth Lions. Mantley bringing the ball down. Paulino signals. Pass knocked away by McCutcheon. Roark with the ball. And McCutcheon with a nice 10-footer.
He's been playing great. Last night he had a great second half against Windsor, and he's keeping it right up right now.
Mantley with the ball for Queen Elizabeth into Jones. Tries an 8-footer from the baseline. And he makes that, no problem. Shea Hammer with the ball. Full court pressure by QE once more. Pass into McCutcheon to break that pressure. And a save almost by Mantley. Into Roark. And he lays it in on a nice pass from McCutcheon.
Well, that's great basketball. That's all I can say. Both teams are playing as hard as they can play, and they're just making great moves out there.
10-7, West over the Lions. Nice pass in from Smith to Wilson. Off the rim, Laval rebounds it, and that's off. And Wade Smith comes up with that 3 offensive rebounds for QE. They're always tough in that department, Gary.
They own the loose ball. That's as simple as that.
Into Wilson. He's in close, and he drops it. Full court pressure once again. This will be a key, I think, coach, for West. If they can break this pressure consistently throughout the game, they'll be in trouble if they can't.
Yes, the idea behind this is not to have 2 or 3 turnovers in a row, not to have the real big breakdown. Because if you have the 2 or 3 in a row, all of a sudden QE gets that 8 or 10 point lead, and it's very difficult to come back on them.
Roworth with the ball. Halifax West ahead, 10-9 over QEH. And Durnford at the top of the paint. And a pass from Roworth. That's one thing West seem to be executing really well, are their passes in for the open shots.
Yes, they are. They're getting everybody involved in the game.
And Augie Jones. And both teams are razor sharp here this afternoon in this Provincial AAA final. High school championship, emblematic of...
Coach Douglas, Coach Parker, one or the other, called off the press here, and they're back into a 3-2 zone. So there's a lot of coaching strategy and a lot of changing the defense going on out there. Now, Halifax West is going to have to adjust to this.
Hammer with the ball. Top of the key, tries an 18-footer, in and out. Rebounded by Roworth. He's on the floor. And a travel called by the official.
Well, it's just a good hustle, that's all, and nothing you can do about that. There's a lot of people going for the ball. We've got a substitution for QE there, number 55.
Brian Gross in
Brian
for Wade.
Gross. Brian's coming back off from an injury. He's been a little bit rusty, but he's a valuable player. And it's Wade Smith coming in.
Mantley with the ball. On the wing to Jason Wilson. Tries a 12-footer off the rim. And we have a jump foul situation. Chris Mantley in there rebounding. As we've seen him do all year, he's for a point guard. He gets in there and gets up and gets quite a few rebounds for a fellow his size.
He's an unbelievable leaper, and he's very strong. So he gets his share of rebounds, that's for sure.
And Mantley right up there with McCutcheon, but McCutcheon controls to Roworth. And the fast break is converted. Roworth giving the West Warriors a 3-point lead, 14-11 over Queen Elizabeth. Mantley bringing the ball up into Gross. He bobbles it. Drives. Off the rim. And another jump foul.
Well, it's a real battle on both ends of the floor on the boards. Both teams got 3 or 4 guys rebounding all the time.
Tip control by QE. In the corner to Jones. Ball back out into Gross. He'll put up a 6-footer. That's off the rim.
Oh, Gross really got off his feet.
He was way up for that one. Roworth bringing the ball up. McCutcheon in the corner.
Bad pass.
Bad pass intercepted by Jason Wilson.
That's one of the few bad plays we've seen today.
Wilson will try a 16-footer, and he drops it.
Bobby Douglas has brought Brian Gross in. He's moved Jason out to the perimeter. While Brian Gross was injured, that was one of the things that he couldn't do with that QE team, because Jason's a great perimeter player. And it gives him more flexibility and just more weapons to use. And I think that that's a key factor with him. I was talking with him early in the year when Brian was out, and we were discussing that very thing. And right now it's working out for him, because with Jason playing the perimeter and 2 guys, they got a pretty good sized team out there.
Oh, yes. Yes, I imagine Coach Douglas is happy to have Gross back and playing for him.
The problem is that Brian has been rusty, and he can't seem to get his rhythm back. He gets the ball, he travels, or he just isn't able to feel comfortable offensively, and that's hurt him a little bit. But the only way that he can get that back is to play him, and so you can't very well sit him down at this time of the year. You got to use him, and he's come in and he's missed a couple of shots, but he's playing hard on the board.
And with the pace that this game is traveling, I think both coaches are going to have to go into their bench. I don't think either team can play 5 players at this pace for the length of the game.
No, absolutely not. But they both have good benches, and neither one of them seem to lose anything when they go to the bench. And I don't think that the bench is going to be a factor one way or the other, because they'll equal each other out. They both are very strong off the bench. I look for it to be just a hard-nosed game right all the way to the wire with 7 or 8 players playing for both teams, and it might come down to whoever has the ball last.
It could very well be, Coach. Jay Hammer inbounding the ball. Off to Chris Roworth. Sternford in the corner.
Halifax West has made a couple of key substitutions here now.
Roworth over to Hammer. He'll try a 15-footer anyway.
Oh, that was a 20-footer. That was a great shot out there.
And in for the West, we have Sean Sullivan and Mike Dunbar. And another skying rebound by Chris Roworth.
Yes, you see, Nick's got a lot of confidence in his bench.
Oh. Pass into Dunbar.
They've got, he's got Dean Durnford out right now, and
Tom McCutcheon.
Tom McCutcheon, yes, has 2 of his starters, excellent players, and yet they're playing just as well.
Jones with the ball to Mantley. Has a look. Top of the key.
And again, QE has Wade Smith on the bench, who's one of the premier players around, and they're playing it at the top for him. So they both got good benches.
Chris Mantley drives in, and that just fails to drop, and Dunbar up with a big rebound. Down comes Roworth. He drops a 15-footer. And he's come to play today also, Coach. You can just read the intensity in his face. And the score is 18-13, West over the Lions. QE slowing the game down. It looks a little, Coach.
Yes, they seem to be, but I really don't know why. I think that the faster the pace, the better off they are. We had a nice drive there by Jason with 3 seconds left on the clock, and he drew the foul. He's a very smart player. And we're looking today at 2 of the premier players, I think, that's ever played in this area. I haven't seen any 2 high school players any better than Jason Wilson and Chris Roworth in all the years that I've been in the Maritimes. And that's, I think I'm on my 11th year this year, so it's been a little while. They're just super basketball players.
Yes, they're both so talented, and they both go at the game so in such a dedicated manner that I believe they're 2 of the greatest players ever to come out of the province, and I know they'll go on to have college careers. And Wilson makes
one of the 2.
We have a 4-point difference. McCutcheon back in the game, off to Dunbar, and he doesn't get the shot away in time. So at the end of the first quarter, we have an 18-14 game, the Halifax West Warriors over the Queen Elizabeth High Lions.
The amazing thing is that those 2 players are really great players, but it's a tribute to high school basketball that all the players that are on the floor today are excellent basketball players, because even though they're great players, they stand out, but they don't stick way out. I mean, they don't dominate things. I mean, there's other players out there that can play. And so the growth of basketball, particularly I think in the Halifax area, is really reached its peak right now. We've got more good basketball players than I've ever seen in this area, and it's from a college coach's point of view, it's really great, because a lot of these guys can come in and help a college program, university program immediately. And even the smaller colleges around, the King's colleges and the teachers colleges, they're going to benefit from this, because there's going to be some of these players that are going to be looking to go to the smaller schools. And so it's going to upgrade the caliber of basketball for some years to come at all levels.
And I think that just points to the fact that throughout Nova Scotia in general, basketball is taken quite seriously. We have any number of dedicated coaches that really know their X's and O's, Gary, and apply it to the game. Throughout this tournament, we've seen disciplined teams, even the teams that were beat in the quarterfinals, ran very disciplined offenses and defenses, and it's a tribute to the work being done by coaches with their teams.
Yes, that's exactly right. There's a lot of good coaches, and you can't name them all, so we won't name any of them, but they all are dedicated. I want to point out that they're all volunteers, too.
Exactly. Tip control by QEH. Jones looking to give the ball off, and he does to Wade Smith, who's back in the game. Mantley with the ball to Jones, into Lavold, and he loses the ball to McCutcheon. McCutcheon slowing it down. setting up his offense. And they're jostling for position inside. Dion Durnford with the ball. Top of the key to Jay Hammer. He's being deliberate. Back out to McCutcheon. Tough defense by QE. They're denying the pass inside, but it goes inside to Dunbar. He's up. And tipped away by Jason Wilson. Jones to Smith. He can't control it. And the ball apparently went off Wade Smith, and they're calling it West ball.
I thought there was a very obvious foul on this end of the basket when Durnford, no, it wasn't Durnford, it was
Dunbar.
Dunbar went up for that shot. I think we had a good angle on it, and there was obviously a foul. The referees really missed that one, but they aren't going to be able to get them all, and somebody was just a little bit out of position and didn't see that one.
And from the outset of this game, it's been so intense inside, the positioning, and there has been a fair amount of contact inside.
That's right.
McCutcheon being pressured outside.
QE is trying to use their quickness now.
And we have a foul inside. Foul on Brian Gross.
Oh,
And it looked like both players were
I think
pushing
that
there.
could have been a double foul. They're just leaning on each other and going at it, and the smart thing to do right there, we call a double foul and give them both a warning. And yeah, that's what they're going to do.
The officials probably trying to tone the intensity of this pushing down, because both teams are...
This hurt Halifax West a little bit because it ended up a jump ball and they had the ball, but it was the best call to make from the referee's point of view.
And McCutcheon up against Wilson. QE with the control of the tip. In goes Mantley with a nice running layup.
Well, Halifax West had a little mental letdown there, and nobody picked him up, and they went right in for the layup. And QE will take advantage of every mistake you make, and they did then. Chris Mantley especially, he's very alert and took it right to him. Without Roth in the game, they seem to be a little hesitant right now.
McCutcheon with the ball, puts up a 10-footer, in out. Rebounded by Mantley, tries to save it.
Oh, great hustle by Wade Smith and Mantley over there. Mantley saved it on the end line, and Smith tried to save it in the corner.
And in comes Chris Roworth back into the game for the West Warriors.
I think they needed a little more offense. They were getting a little hesitating on their offense and weren't really taking it to them. So they got Chris back in the game.
2-point game now.
Oh, a turnover.
And a turnover. QE with the ball. Jones on the run. Puts it up and in. And we have a foul on Halifax West. What a great play by Augie Jones.
Certainly was. I can tell you this, the referee couldn't keep up with that play. They're just too fast for it. He was way up here when he made that call.
He's lightning quick.
These referees got a real problem getting up and down the floor because is that 4 fouls on Hammer?
I'm not sure, Coach. We'll try to find out.
That's what the announcer, I thought that's what the announcer just said.
Wilson with the rebound. The foul shot being missed. And QE will inbound the ball.
Jason Wilson's so tough on those offensive boards.
And we have a tie game.
There.
Mantley over to Smith. He puts up a 15-footer, in and out. And we have a pushing foul on Brian Gross.
Well, they're really banging heads in there, and there's a lot of contact. Sooner or later, they got to call something. And right now we have another sub. Dunbar came in for Dion Durnford for Halifax West.
And Sean Sullivan's into the game, replacing Jay Hammer.
Yes, that's right. So then for QE, I guess it's Laval is out of the ball game.
Laval's out. QE going with Wilson, Mantley, Smith, Gross, and Jones.
It's Gross and Wilson inside doesn't give them a lot of size, but they certainly have a lot of quickness with that group out there.
And as you mentioned, that allows Wilson to roam a little more when Gross is in there. Smith with the ball. QE in a man-to-man. Mantley with the shot. He misses. Rowarth with the rebound.
He might have missed the shot, but he sure got off his feet when he shot it. He looks like he's 6'6" when he shoots the ball, because he gets off his feet so much. Halifax West were a little confused on what they wanted to do, so they called the timeout. Now, I don't think Coach Morash wanted that timeout. They should have been able to make that adjustment on the floor, but they couldn't, and rather than make a mistake, they took a timeout, so maybe it was a good thing for them.
What would the violation be there, Coach? A 5-second call without moving the ball in?
A violation? Oh, I don't know if yes, well, they could call a violation on a guy just holding on the ball and being guided, but I think they were afraid they were going to make a mistake by not being into their offense. That's why they called the timeout. QE is playing with a lot of intensity right now, and they're really hitting the boards down on this end. It's a real battle. Every time QE shoots a ball, it's a lot of bodies flying down there.
Yeah, they're banging under the boards.
I think QE is so fired up and so anxious that they're missing a few shots that they would normally make. Mantley's had a few that he usually makes, and he's just getting so up so high that maybe he's not shooting it as naturally as he normally would. And the same thing goes for Wade Smith. But as the game goes on, they'll settle down, and I'm sure they'll make the big play when they need to.
Yeah, both teams playing extremely well. West with the ball. Rowarth, top of the key. QE in a man-to-man. Sullivan with the ball. Inside pass to Dean Durnford. Inside to Dunbar. He goes up.
Oh, boy.
And the action is
a lot of action in there.
And Wilson coming up with the loose ball. Jones into Gross. Baseline to Smith. He puts up a 10-footer. And that goes through, no problem.
High ball game. This game is everything anybody thought it was going to be right at this stage. Approximately 5 minutes to go before halftime.
West with the ball. Tough defense by QE. Rowarth driving. Top of the key to McCutcheon. He puts up an 18-footer, and it goes through. Bang.
Boy, he's playing great. He really has had a great series here, developing into a real fine basketball player.
And West are clinging to that 2-point lead. It's a struggle. QE are right on their tails. And Wade Smith ties it once more.
Wade looks like he's relaxing a little now and taking that shot the way he normally does, and he's hit the last 2 in a row. Wade is so consistent. You're really surprised when he missed his one, you know, and most players, you know, it isn't much of a surprise, but when he misses one of those jumpers, it's a surprise.
Yes, he's pretty consistent. Sullivan with the ball in the corner. Loose ball picked up by Dean Durnford. He goes up, and he's fouled by Jason Wilson.
I think Halifax West were a little lucky then. They were struggling with their offense. Durnford really didn't have a very good shot there. He turned around, and Jason just flicked him on the arm, and they kind of lucked out and ended up going to the foul line. Could have been a steal and 2 points on the other end right about that time.
For sure, Coach. And back into the game for the West Warriors, Jay Hammer.
They seem to need Jay's perimeter shooting right now. QE is sagging well and taking their inside game away, and they're going to have someone hit a couple of perimeter shots.
Dean Durnford misses the first.
You could tell he was going to miss that. His body was moving backwards. He's not relaxed. He's got to concentrate and go towards the basket when he shoots it.
There goes the second. In and out. Rebounded by Mantley. 22-22. Mantley drives, being guarded by Rowarth. Jones into Gross. And he hands an 8-footer from the baseline. And he seems to have finally found a groove, Gary.
Yes, I think he's playing better now than I've seen him since he got hurt. And that's going to be a big bonus in the second half for them, I'll tell you.
This is one of the few leads for QE in the entire game. 24-22. Hammer with the ball, lobs it into Dean Durnford. And a great pass and a great conversion.
Well, Dean Durnford's awful strong. When he spreads out in there, it's very difficult to stop him.
Smith with the ball, 20-footer, off the rim. Loose ball. Roworth closely on Smith. Smith coming up with the ball. Jones back out to Mantley. Into the paint to Gross.
Boy, the intensity is really something on defense out here. Both teams are really getting their butts down and playing defense, and I don't mean that derogatory. You have to get your rear end a little low, and you have to be able to move laterally. And you see these guys out there, they're really getting down, and it's a very difficult game. It's 24-24. That isn't terribly high scoring, but the defense is so intense that every shot is very, very important.
Gross misses, rebounded by Jay Hammer.
Everybody kind of stood around that time and watched things happen. I don't know. I think they thought there was another shot coming or something.
Roworth with the ball. Berkey, no directions. Being guarded by Augie Jones. Drives into the key. Fakes. Off to Hammer. Lob pass again. McCutcheon comes up with the loose ball. Drives into the paint. Lays it up and in. What a move.
McCutcheon again with another key basket.
Yes, he's coming up with some key hoops this afternoon.
He might be the key player in the game. There's always a player that a lot of people don't expect to do well. Not that he hasn't played well all year, but in this tournament he's playing a little bit better than he has all year, and it's sometimes those players that come up with the big games and make the difference in championship games.
Yes, you get that contribution, the big contribution from someone you don't really expect it from. Not that McCutcheon doesn't really contribute, but Roworth is a big scorer. But
yes, we talk a lot about Roworth and Smith and Jason Wilson and so on, but I've been saying right along, there's a lot of good players on these teams.
So Dean Durnford picking up that foul, and he sits down. And McCutcheon skies in for that rebound on the missed foul shot by Wilson. And Mike Dunbar is into the game, replacing Dean Durnford. And we have a 26-24 game. West leading. Tough defense by QE. McCutcheon drives, and a steal resulting from that tough pressure. Jones lays it up, and we have a blocking foul called on Chris Roworth. Jones way up for that layup.
Yes, typical QE quickness made that go. They stole the ball from behind, and I came down on a 2-on-1 situation. Chris Roworth made a good defensive move, but he didn't get there quite quick enough.
And that's Chris Roworth's third foul.
That's a key factor right there.
Well, Coach Morash won't be happy with that one. And into the game, replacing Chris Roworth, is Dion Durnford. Sean Sullivan also into the game.
I think this next minute and a half is very important to Halifax West. They got to get in the locker room now, and without too much damage done, use that clock up, try to get in the locker room and regroup and not get in any more foul trouble, because they got two key players over there with foul trouble on them now. And if QE puts pressure on and gets 3 or 4 easy hoops now, it's not gonna be good.
And that's the first foul shot for Queen Elizabeth in a while.
And Queen Elizabeth put the press on. They recognize that they got a problem.
Roworth out of the game, the ball handling guard. McCutcheon breaking the pressure. Tough pressure by QEH. Dion Durnford with the ball. Hammer controlling outside, over to McCutcheon. A little over a minute left in the first half. McCutcheon being guarded closely by Jones. Into the corner to Jay Hammer. Hammer passes in. Dion Durnford in the paint. Puts a shot up. Rebounded by Wilson. Knocked out of bounds by West. And QE has the ball with a minute and 2 seconds left.
Well, there's some fierce defense being played there, I'll tell you.
26-25. West up by 1. Man-to-man by West. Augie Jones with a 15-footer. That's off. Rebounded by Hammer.
Not a good shot selection. Bobby Douglas didn't like that one at all. because they could have gone inside, I think, and gotten something a little bit better with the clock winding down here.
With no shot clock, do you think they'll go for one shot, Coach?
Well, they should. Unless they get a layup, I think they will, yes. Oh, they're trying to lob it in. I question that strategy. They've gotten hit a couple times doing that.
Yes, QE coming up again with that loose ball. The second lob in a row that didn't work. It worked for them earlier once or twice, but if you even it out with mistakes. Smith with the ball, throws that pass in, and Dion Durnford coming up with that loose ball.
Oh, that's a foul.
And Jones on McCutcheon. And Hammer
Why did
with
he
his
shoot
shot.
that?
And they could have worked it in a little closer.
Yeah, they had enough time left, but they got out of this minute and a half without a score.
And that's the main concern for West. Wilson with a long shot, and he only missed that by about a foot and a half.
I think they're a little slow on the clock over there on that one.
So we have the end of the first half here at the Provincial Boys AAA High School Championships, Nova Scotia School Athletic Federation. Quite an intense first half, Gary.
Very intense, and Coach Marish is going into the locker room, I think, pretty happy because that last minute and a half, they only dropped 1 point, and he had 2 of it.
Channel 10 Halifax, keeping in touch with your community. Catch all the action. The Nova Scotia Oilers on Community Television, Channel 10 Halifax.
The Warriors with 10 points, but he has 3 fouls. He's the only West Warrior in any foul trouble. Dean Durnford has 2. Jay Hammer has 4 points. Tom McCutcheon with a big 8 points. And the 2 Durnford boys, Dion and Dean, with 2 each. On the QE side of the ledger, Wade Smith is leading the lines with 8 points. Jason Wilson and Jones chipping in with 7. And Mantley and Gross with 2 each. Wilson, Smith, and Gross both have 3 fouls apiece, or 2 fouls apiece, excuse me. So 26-25 starting the second half. Gary, some comments on what we might expect in the second half?
Yes, Halifax West, of course, leads 26-25. I think the key factor in the first half was QE was only 3 for 9 from the foul shooting, and that probably is the difference between them being up by 5 or 6 points and they're down 1 right now. But it's not a big problem. It's been just a very closely contested ball game. I think QE will probably shoot their foul shots a little better second half, and the key for Halifax West, of course, is making sure that Roeth doesn't foul out of this game. But you couldn't get more of a game from a standpoint of intensity than what's going on out there right now. It might seem like a low-scoring game, but the defense and the rebounding is so intense that you're going to end up with not as much scoring in this kind of a game.
And the relatively small number of fouls is an indication of just how intense the game is. It's non-stop action end-to-end. West is 4 for 6 from the line, so they hope to continue that in the second half if they're going to stay and lead in this game as they have. They'll have their work cut out, as you mentioned at the end of the first half, Gary. to stay with this very fine second half team in the Lions?
Well, there haven't been many fouls called. There probably could be more called, but they're letting them play inside on the boards, and they're really banging in there. I think that's a little bit advantageous to QE. They seem to own all the loose balls. I think the other team would be smart to concede the loose balls out of bounds to QE, and then they wouldn't get as many easy shots, because QE just seems to own the loose balls. And I've watched them all year long, and not one game has been much different when it comes to that.
So I don't think it is a fluke that they do control the loose balls as they do. It's a tribute to their quickness and their anticipation.
Yes, aggressiveness, quickness, and anticipation. But they are so quick. Very, very quick. Well, we're ready to go here.
All set for second half action. Players shaking hands.
Last game of high school basketball. I think there is going to be an all-star game here at St. Pat's on Wednesday night, though, isn't there?
I think so, Gary. LeBeau controlling the tap, off to Wilson. Mantley with the ball. Shorty, no directions. Jones drives in, inside to Wilson. And a tough pass inside, and he seems to convert all of those.
Oh, a big turnover right there.
And the ball is stolen by QE, over to Wilson, and he's up for another quick two. And quickly, the QE Lions are up by 3, 29-26. Tough pressure by QE. Hammer with the ball, across center.
Halifax West looks a little bit shaky right now. They didn't look too good against that pressure, and QE came out. Because Jason Wilson, as usual, right in there getting it.
Tough pass inside, and Durnford makes an easy layup, and a very tough pass from Jay Hammer.
Right back to a one-point game, so
hopefully that'll pick up the West for the second half. They can't afford to let QE run on them, that's for sure. Augie Jones into the top of the key. And we have a charging foul on Jones.
Yes, he knew it the minute he left his feet, but it wasn't anything he could do about it at that time. No, they're going to call, yes, there was I thought they were going to call that the other way for a minute.
And I believe it was McCutcheon who established his position in there, Coach.
I think it was number 35, Sullivan, but I might be wrong. But
Sullivan, junior player.
He was on the floor anyway at one time.
Rower bringing up the ball at full speed. It's a loose ball. He picks it back up. Tough hustle by Chris Rower. The crowd roaring to that. He's back out almost a half, driving against Jones, pass into Durnford. West being deliberate on their offensive set here. Rower drives baseline.
Stepped out of bounds. Stepped out of bounds. Basket won't count.
And a nice driving layup, but the out of bounds makes it all for naught.
I have to say that Barbie Douglas and Mark Parker are doing a good job of keeping their cool over there today and trying to remain calm to give the kids. It's important to do that because if you get all excited in these big games, the kids will get excited and make mistakes also. So they're staying calm.
Ball into Wilson, puts up a 10-footer, nothing but mesh. And that's a 3-point lead for QE now, 31-28. West working against a tenacious full-court pressure of the QE Lions. Rower with a pass and an interception by Wade Smith. He loses the ball.
Oh, a great steal. Hammer got that back again. It was a short 2 points.
And that was a tough play by Hammer, because if QE had gone up 5, they are tough to catch when they're up 5. Ball into Durnford. He turns around, puts it up, hangs on the rim, rebound by LeBeau. And the action is intense, as it has been all game underneath.
That ball looked like it was going to go in, but it wasn't to be. Bounced around, came back out.
QE seem to be in their groove now. Mantley with the ball, driving. Puts up a shot on the run. Rebounded by Durnford. A long court-wide pass. And Smith makes a valiant effort to try to keep that in bounds, and he flies into the crowd.
Well, There's no lack of hustle out there on either side tonight.
No holes barred today. They know all the marbles are on the table, and they've known it from the start of the game. Hammer with the ball. Inbound pass knocked away by Wilson. Pass intended for Sean Sullivan. Hammer to inbound the ball. Inbounds it to McCutcheon. Brings the ball out. Stops. Puts up a 10-footer. Not a very good shot. Didn't have his balance. Smith with the ball on the Wilson rebound. QE slowing it down. Pass inside. Knocked away by Dean Durnford. Pass intended for LeBeau. And Rower throws that pass over Hammer's head. Bad pass.
Yes, both teams made mistakes on the last two times down court. It's just simply the tournament, you know, big game jitters. It's hard to explain, but this game is very, very intense.
Yeah, even though the score is sort of low, it's a result of the intensity and the great defensive efforts by both teams.
I feel that right now that Jason Wilson is starting to establish himself. He's made a couple of very good hoops on this end, and down the other end here, he's really playing it very intensely on defense, and he just pulled down a big rebound. And it's players like him that have the ability to break a game open. And if they make a run right now, if QE gets one of their typical runs, I'm sure he's going to be an integral part of it.
And it doesn't take long for QE to take control of a game, as we've seen so often this year. They can go on a 3-minute run and put 10 points between themselves and their opponents. So I'm sure Coach Morash is aware of this, and he's trying to...
Well, it's a very important timeout for him because he's got to get his troops settled down and get back into getting into their groove. The ball will come back into play. It will be Queen Elizabeth's ball, I believe. It was a turnover on Halifax West side. It's approximately 5 minutes left to go in the third period. We got a lot of basketball to go. QE leading 31-28.
And the Lions bring the ball up. Augie Jones, freshman, playing very well. Smith with the ball. Weston man-to-man. It's into Smith, and he converts it.
Well, it's Jason Wilson again. You know, he's so
Wilson.
tough inside. And this one could be a three-point play.
And that foul is on Sean Sullivan. Now, he gets a step on you inside. There's no way to get position. You almost have to let the guy go and avert the foul, Coach.
Well, if he even gets the ball in there, something's going to happen usually, and it's just an excellent basketball player.
So QE with a chance to go up by 6 with this Wilson foul shot, and he makes
I think that might be the biggest lead of the game. Earlier in the game, Halifax West had a 4 or 5 point lead, but
that is the largest threat of the game. Tough pressure, and it results in a QE turnover to LeBeau. And Hammer with a tough foul, with a bruising foul.
He didn't want to give him that layup, and that was a good foul. He had to make it.
Yes, it was going to be a short 2 by LeBeau.
He made darn sure he didn't get 2. Make him earn it for the foul line. It was not an intentional foul or anything like that. It was intentional in the sense he just didn't want to let him have an easy shot.
So if he can miss 1 or 2 of these foul shots, it will have been a good play.
Yes, that's right. Even if he makes them, he had to earn them from the foul line. The other way, it could have been a 3-point play.
I'm sure Coach Morash knows the importance of these next few minutes to get that score back if they can. The ball at the line. He misses the first. That brings a roar from the West fans. And he misses the second. Rebounded by McCutcheon. So Hammer's move proves to be positive for the Warriors. Roworth bringing the ball up against Jones. Tough defensive play by Jones. Hammer inside into Durnford. He turns around and drops a nice one-handed 7-footer. They need some production out of him, Coach.
Certainly does. I think Coach Morash is going to make a good move here. He's going to get a sub in right now for O'Sullivan, I think, who's playing against Jason Wilson.
And tough rebounding. West up with the ball. And we have a foul on Chris Mantley. And that was another close one, Coach.
Yes.
Didn't look like much contact.
Chris Royce made a good move, though, and he had a little bit of position on him. There wasn't much contact, but there was enough. This is key now. If he can make these 2 shots, they're back in the game. Halifax West trailing 34-30. Chris Royce on the line for 2. This is the quietest. I was just going to say, I think that's the quietest been in here all day long while Chris was shooting that foul shot. It shows that people are just anticipating a great finish here, and they're saving it a little bit.
And Roark makes the second, and he brings it back to within 2 points for the Warriors. So after being down 6, they brought it back to within 2. Jones with the ball. Mantley up with a 12-footer. It's on the rim. It's off. And QE comes up with the rebound. Wade Smith inside. And he cans a nice running 8-foot shot. And he's having a big game as anticipated for QE. McCutcheon with the ball. Fakes. 4-point lead for the Lions. Zone being employed. Defense into Durnford. And a great pass inside, Coach.
Yes, it was. Halifax West in the man-to-man now. QE's in a 3-2 zone, and they got the ball inside that zone that time, and not much defense once it gets there.
Smith inside, has the ball tipped.
Oh, a big hoop by the big man.
And the Bull got control of that offensive rebound and put it right back up.
Oh, that was an important basket, no question
Pressure
about
on
it.
Hammer now. Tough defensive pressure. And we have a foul. A foul called on Halifax West. They had a trap on Jay Hammer. And Hammer gave him an elbow, it looked like, Coach.
Well, they had a real good trap on him, and he couldn't find anybody open. And in his frustration, he pushed to try to get a little bit of extra room there.
Seemed like the other West players were a little slow in coming back to help there.
That's right. He didn't have much help on that one.
So Jay Hammer sits down with that foul, and Mike Dunbar is in to replace him. Chris Mantley with the ball, sorry. Top of the key.
Boy.
Augie Jones with a 15-footer, misses, rebounded by Dean Durnford. He's having a tough second half for the Warriors. 38-34. Critical part of the game.
QE's gone back to man-to-man defense.
Whichever defense they use is tough enough. McCutcheon brings it into the paint, puts up a running one-hander, misses. Off-balance shot. Mantley with the ball.
The Bulls come up with a couple of big rebounds here lately.
And Mantley throws in a running one-hander. Way up on that one, too. He's having a big game, as usual. McCutcheon with the ball. And we have a foul on Augie Jones as Tom McCutcheon drove to the basket. Got him with the leg. As you said, Lavold asserted himself in the last couple of minutes, Coach.
Yes, he got an offensive rebound, put it in. He was very tough on that trap down here. That's what caused the Hammer turnover on the offensive foul. And then he got a defensive rebound, and it resulted in a basket by Mantley. So the big man is starting to pay a few dividends.
Brian Gross into the game, replacing Augie Jones. Shot put up by West. And ball goes off of QE. West retains possession. And at this point of the game, Jason Wilson, 14 points for the Lions. And Chris Warworth, I believe, must be around 14 himself. He had 10 in the first half. Inbound pass stolen by Brian Gross. Bad pass.
Big turnover there.
And QE have it back to within 6. Warworth has 12 points at the moment. Gross with the ball. Knocked out of bounds by Jay Hammer.
Now they got their big team in there now with Brian Gross and Lavold inside, and Jason is able to play outside. And that gives them another dimension.
Wilson with the ball outside, taking his time. In the corner, Smith. Here's a 20-footer. That's off the rim.
His own
Got
rebound.
his own rebound again. And puts it in. It's about the value of following your shot, Coach.
Certainly is, and Wade's had an excellent basketball game here. They got that big 6'8" guy guiding the ball out of bounds, and he's got his arms up, and he's pretty quick for his size, giving him a lot of trouble getting the ball inbound.
Yes, he's an imposing obstacle for anyone to try to inbound on. He's causing problems again. Ball inbound at the rower. He brings it up, right through the pressure, to the key. He lost
had
control.
an easy layup and blew it down. Just went off his fingertips, and you just don't see Chris make those mistakes very often.
No, and you can't make too many of them against QE and survive, that's for sure.
Oh, they're down to 8 right now. This could be 10.
And Smith in and out with a 10-footer.
Oh, Lavold on the
Hits
boards
his own.
again. Smith came up with it, but it was Lavold. And
Jason Wilson from 15 feet. And the Lions with a 10-point lead, biggest lead of the game. Winding down to the end of the third quarter. Sean Sullivan back in the game, into Durnford. They try to work it inside. Dean Durnford with the jumper.
Lavold with another big rebound.
Yes, he's really playing tough. And a foul on Dean Durnford. And Lavold is psyched.
Well, I really think he's responsible for the last 4 or 5 points that QE has gotten. He's rebounding both ends, playing good defense.
And QE seems to be in the middle of one of their vaunted runs, that's for sure. West will have to stem this if they want to have a chance to come back in this game.
Surprisingly enough, it's been the defense that's created this lead. They just aren't giving them anything. Halifax West only scored 34 points in 3 periods of play. That's not many points.
No. Wilson with the ball. Tries a 10-footer. Misses. And both West players going for the ball.
They just showed a lot of hustle on that play. And just tremendous hustle. And the problem was that they both wanted the ball, and
Dunbar had a death grip on that ball. Ball off and rebounded by Dunbar. And that's the end of the third quarter. And that was Queen Elizabeth High's quarter.
yes, certainly was. They went up 11 points in that quarter. They were down 1 at halftime, lead by 10 now. And I don't think Halifax West must have gotten about 5 or 6 points in that whole period.
No, a bad quarter. A quarter of disarray for the West Warriors, resulting from that tremendous full court pressure by the Lions. It's awesome. It must be hard to work against every time out there, Gary.
Well, it certainly is, and Halifax West has to break that press and get a few easy baskets if they expect to get back in the game. But just like in the St. Pat's game, I really think if you get behind QE by 10 or 12 points, it is such a difficult situation because they got the quickness, the ball handling, and it's very difficult to get back in the game with them. So it's going to be an interesting fourth period, and you can be assured that Nick Morash's team over there isn't going to concede this at this time. But I really think it's a difficult situation for them because it's so hard. They got to outscore them by 11 points in this next period to win the game. Or they got to outscore them by 10 to tie it. And that's a lot to do in one period against QE.
Against a veteran QE team.
Yes, very experienced, very quick, very good ball handling team. Well, it's time for him to come back on the floor. Nick Morash is over there doing a lot of coaching right at this point. He's trying to come up with some strategy to get a few easy hoops off from this QE press. But I really believe that Lavold's pressure on the out-of-bounds or the inbounds pass is causing a tremendous amount of problems for Halifax West. And they've got to overcome that if they expect to get back in the game.
Bobby Douglas, fairly composed as he should be after that tremendous third quarter by the QE Lions. So we're ready to go with the fourth quarter here. And West have their work cut out for them. Lavold to jump center against Dean Durnford. So we have Lavold, Wilson, Gross, Mantley, and Smith. Dunbar, Sullivan, Durnford, Hammer, and Chris Roarworth for the West Warriors. They'll jump it again. It's up, controlled by QE. Wilson with the ball. Puts up a 20-footer. Bang!
Jason Wilson again. Just a great basketball player. He was inside getting his stuff when he was playing forward. Now he went to guard and he hits a good shot on the outside.
And we have a blocking foul on Dwayne LeBeau.
See, this lineup that I've been telling you about, when he can get Jason Wilson on the outside and have Brian Gross and LeBeau on the inside, is a very effective lineup, especially against a big team like Halifax West. And you see, they've actually gotten their lead with that lineup in there. As Jason Wilson again, almost another steal.
Yes, they seem to go on their run in the third quarter with the lineup, and LeBeau being instrumental in that run. Hammer inbounding to Roark. Full court pressure all game by the QE Lions. Dunbar bringing the ball over half. Gives it off to Roark. He drives into the key, stops, pops, off the rim. Rebounded by Dean Durnford, and he puts it in. And they've got it back to within 10. Tough inside work by Durnford.
Yes, he's been hanging tough the whole playoffs here and getting his stuff inside. Big, strong boy.
Wilson with the ball, driving. In with a 6-footer, and he hits it on the run.
Can't let him get in that deep.
So smooth.
Yes, he is.
Full court pressure again. Sullivan inbounding to Roark. He's driving. He stops, puts it up. Gets a roll off the rim. And with only 2 points in the third period, Roark has come alive for the West. To within 10 again. Pass into Gross, in close. It's off the rim. And QE retains possession. West have got to deny those easy inside passes by QE if they're going to get back.
Well, they're out trying to gamble a little bit on defense now, and that's giving up. You got to give up something, and once you get by that front line, then they get a pretty easy shot inside.
LeBeau with the ball. Mantley outside. Into the corner to Smith. Being double teamed. Mantley puts up a 15-footer. In and out. Rebounded by Dunbar with a tough rebound. Roark with the ball. McCutcheon waits. Nice pass inside to Durnford, and another lob pass.
Yes, they're still going to that pass to Durnford. That time it worked out all right. But that's the equalizer.
Wade Smith with it.
You just can't give him that kind of daylight.
A 12-footer. Yes, if he's open for a second, same as Wilson, they're going to put it down.
Another turnover.
And a costly turnover for West. Just when they had it down to 8, it's back to 10. And they've lost possession. Dunbar coming out. And Dion Durnford coming in for West. We've got a timeout.
Again, it's that constant pressure by QE. LeBeau was playing Chris Rowitz out of bounds. LeBeau 6'8", Rowitz 6'1". He's having trouble seeing the open man and getting the ball into that open man. And that time he threw it away over in the corner. Well, 6 minutes more of basketball. It isn't over yet, that's for sure.
No,
50 to 40. Again, Halifax West made some key hoops here, but as I said before, QE's had to come back against. They keep coming down and getting another hoop to equalize it up.
We did a game earlier, Coach, at Halifax West, and we saw West come back to make a run for it in the last minute and a half of the game. But QE's so tough when they've got a lead. They'd almost have to go to the line by intentional fouling by West and hope that QE would miss. It seems to, at this point, well, there is still 6 minutes left, but as the game winds down, it looks like West might have to intentionally foul QE to try to get the ball.
Well, it will come down to that if we get under the 4-minute mark and they're still down by, 10, 12 points. That's for sure.
Both QE coaches, Mark Parker, Bobby Douglas, I imagine just telling their troops to keep up their steady play. They've played well in this second half of the game, being down 1 at the half and now leading by 10. Augie Jones to inbound the ball for the Lions. Back into Jones. Man-to-man by the West. Pass into Wilson. He's inside. And Wilson with a tough layup from underneath the basket. And we have a foul on Chris Rohrer, his fourth.
Well, that is a big hoop. Because Jason Wilson's been getting big hoops ever since he picked up a basketball. So it's something that comes second nature to him. But he's just a tremendous basketball player. I just can't imagine anybody denying that he is as good a player that's come out of this region in a long, long time. And I can't think of anybody that can do as many things as he can. There's a lot of players that can shoot the ball better, and there's a lot of players that were bigger than he was, but he puts a total game together. He does so many things.
Long pass to Rohrer. And he's stripped by the ball. And a tough play by Wade Smith. And the referee's calling hand contact on that attempted layup by Rohrer. That last foul was on Durford and not Chris Rohrer up at the other end when Wilson converted that shot.
Well, the crowd certainly didn't like that call. And because it's a hard one to call. Smith was up in the air with him, looked like a good block. But Chris Rohrer ends up on the line.
Yeah, both players were up close to the rafters on that one.
They were well over the rim, that's for sure.
Rohrer making the first foul shot attempt. To try to cut the lead to 11. And he makes it. With just a little under 6 minutes to go. It's an 11-point lead for the QE Lions. Smith with the ball. Mantley, the tough point guard for QE, into Jones, pass off to Wilson, and a tough hoop. He seems to make so many baskets going to the hoop, which is...
Well, he's so tough.
And a long pass to Rohrer. He's got the same situation as before, and he makes it. And another foul on Wade Smith.
Well, this is a show between the two great players on both teams. Jason Wilson comes down, gets a hoop. Chris Rohrer comes back the other end and does it.
Chris Rohrer, the league MVP for the Metro High School League this year. And Jason Wilson, of course, the MVP for the previous 3 years. So it was MVP against MVP a moment ago.
Yes, it's hard to choose between those boys, that's for sure.
Both having spectacular years. Rohrer to try to bring the game back to 10. And he does. 55-45, Coach.
Yes, they had that little run on them, and that's all it takes. QE seems to do that to everybody.
Jones misses a 15-footer, rebounded by Brian Gross. And he makes himself heard from.
I think Halifax West is getting a little bit tired right now. On those rebounds,
oh, the ball stolen by Chris Mantley. So fast.
He is really quick.
Mantley with the ball. A big steal. And the ball going off Chris Mantley's leg. Even at this point, they're hustling with such desire.
I don't think that the Halifax West has got the legs that they had earlier, because some of those rebounds are just not quick enough to get to them. And QE is converting them into a big hoop.
Ball inbound to Rohrer. Back to Hammer. Tries a 20-footer. Off the rim. Rebounded by Jason Wilson. Spins around. His pass knocked away by Hammer, who comes up with the ball. Being trapped by two QE players. The ball on the floor. And they're going to call a jump ball. Great defensive pressure by QE.
Yes, they get two people around you and they really swarm you. And that time there, Jay just couldn't seem to get the handle on the ball.
So it's Augie Jones against Jay Hammer. And the players are on the wrong side there.
Well, I don't know what happened on that one.
And the tip controlled by Halifax West. Time running out for the Warriors now. Just 4.5 minutes left. Rohrer gives it off to Hammer. And a pass inside and a foul on Dwayne LeBeau. And he's had himself quite a game.
Yeah, he certainly has. And Dean Dune for theirs too. And they went into Dean and... When Dean gets the ball in there, he's tough, and Laval know it, so the only option he has is reach over and foul him on that pass.
Yes, the term warrior certainly is appropriate for Dean Durnford. He's in there battling from the start to the finish.
I think I have to mention this crowd again. I don't think you could get many more people in here. It's surrounded. The end lines are full. The corners are full. And they've gotten their money's worth today. And this is really the end of just a fantastic high school season. The best I've seen since I've been in this area. And I think a lot of fans got a chance to see a lot of great basketball, and they've got to appreciate that.
That is certainly the case, Gary. It's a tremendous wind-up to a great season for high school ball. And a lot of these fellas, as we alluded to before, are going to go on and play college ball, small college ball, and they'll keep contributing to ball within the region. We'd like to, of course, see as many of them stay within the Atlantic region as possible.
Well, they're like a resource as far as I'm concerned. I think that as far as the local kids go, it'd be very good to see them stay here and go to the university here so that the fans that appreciate watching them during their high school years can get to see them and see their progress as they go on through university. And some of these players even have an opportunity or the possibility of to make the national team, and we might see them even go further than just playing at the university level. They might be capable of playing at the international level. So it's going to be interesting to follow some of their careers.
I agree with that, Coach, and it is something worthwhile for these players to aspire to have the dream of playing on the national team.
Well, Jack Donahoe was here, I think it was yesterday, the day before, gave a little speech, and yes. That's what he says. He says, don't be afraid to dream, and don't be afraid to dream about being on that national team someday, because the players that he has now were doing this very same thing a few years ago. Makes no difference to me. Yeah, because Jason.
So with a little over 4 minutes left, 57-45, 12-point lead for the West, for the Lions. Tom McCutcheon on the line, vitally important foul shots here. He makes the first.
Well, it's back down to an 11-point game, and he can cut it to 10, but QE is maintaining that lead.
McCutcheon with the second. 10-point ball game. The QE are like ice when they have a lead. They don't want to relinquish it. Wilson with the ball, back out to Mantley. Corner to Smith. Mantley driving. Jones steps it in to Smith, to Wilson. And we have a foul as he was gliding towards the basket.
Very tough call. Dean Durnford's playing tough in there. He's trying to contain Jason Wilson. Jason Wilson is just so quick. He combines quickness with physical strength, and that's a tough combination. I mean, Dean Durnford is big and strong and a good player, but he doesn't have that kind of quickness. And then Chris Rowett is quick and can shoot the ball, but he doesn't have the physical strength. But Jason Wilson it seems to put all of those things together. He can play inside, he can play outside, he handles the ball, he shoots the ball well.
Yes,
so he's just a combination of all of these players, and just a great player.
And talking with Coach Douglas earlier in the year, he mentioned that Wilson is the type of player that's been able to respond and fill any position that he needed to be filled at the time. When a player's been injured for a long while this year, he played center and still continues to do so as we see him. So.
When he first came up to high school ball, he was still about the same size. He was playing point guard for him 1 year, so he's done it all for QE, and they're going to be a long time before they see another athlete of that caliber. They got great athletes there, but he just seems to be a notch above everybody else.
Here Wilson is on the foul line. Misses. Rebound by McCutcheon. Rower taking the ball in, puts up a 12-footer, bang. And it's back to a 9-point game. Still 3.5 minutes to go. Pass over to Mantley.
Well, QE seems to have relaxed a little bit, and that could cost them. Game isn't over yet, that's for sure. Whoa, that could have been a steal there.
Tough pressure, in goes Mantley. He puts it up, it's off. Rebound by Dunbar.
Oh, that was
vicious
a tough rebound.
Ripped it out of the hands of one or two QE players. Roworth with the shot. Bang!
Fantastic.
It is back. It's a 6-point game. And a steal by... Oh, well, what hustle by Roworth. He almost had that steal.
But Chris Mantley's quickness got the ball back for him again. Oh, big turnover there.
What was the call there, Coach? A travel?
I think it was a double dribble. I think, I noticed here we've had a couple of breaks in the action. QE was going real well, and there was a couple of foul shots, a timeout, and they came out and they seemed to relax a little bit. I mentioned that just a moment ago. And you just cannot relax with a game with this kind of intensity because the other team has not relaxed, and all of a sudden, bang, bang, and they've scored 6 straight points, back to within 6, and they have the ball. And so
Chris Roworth, who was relatively quiet in the third period with just 2 points, has come alive for 9 in this fourth quarter. Has a game total of 21 now, so he's really asserted himself here in this final run by the West Warriors.
Well, he has to do it right now. It's time to give the ball to Roworth and let him do his thing. Because there's no tomorrow, they're behind. They've got to take it to him, and he's the guy that can do it. I think one of the dangers in that is he might pick up an offensive foul, but at this stage in the game, you can't be worried about those things.
Well, you have to let it all hang out at this point.
It's like David McIntosh last night. St. Pat's was in a very similar position, and he fouled out, but he did it trying to win the ball game.
And that's all you can ask of a player. Roworth with the ball into McCutcheon. He's on the wing. He's being trapped by the QE players. Gets it away to Dunbar. Top of Hammer with a 20-footer. And there's the pressure player there. And it's a 4-point game. What a game. Mantley with the ball. The West Warriors exhorting their team on. Ball knocked away by McCutcheon. And the intensity level of the West Warriors on defense is really coming to the fore now, Coach.
Well, QE is going to try to get that ball into Jason Wilson. And that's a key factor right now. Sullivan in the ball game now.
Replacing Dion
They
Durford.
want all the quickness they could get in there. There they go.
Pass inside.
They tied it up.
And Jay Hammer ties up.
They're forcing it into Jason right now, and Halifax West is double teaming him. I think maybe Augie and Wade Smith have got to look for their shot right about now.
But they are having trouble getting it in at the moment. Ball up. Tapped and throw by Wilson.
Jason's so strong on those tips.
4-point game, 57-53 with 2 minutes to go. Augie Jones drives. There's a 12-footer. It's off. Rebound. And the ball goes out of bounds off QE. It's West ball. And what a comeback by the West. Can they sustain it? Well, we'll see. Roworth with the ball. Coach Morash calling for motion from the sidelines. Roworth. McCutcheon driving, stops with a 12-footer. It's up, it's off, rebounded by Wilson with a big rebound.
Yes, he just keeps coming up with the big plays. And that was a big rebound right there, that's for sure.
Mantley with the ball, Jones has it. They're going to have to come out on the Lions here. They'll just keep passing the ball outside. And we have a foul on Jay Hammer. Not much of a foul, but...
Well, they're going for the ball over there, and...
They have to be aggressive like this, Coach, or the time is going to run out on them. They have to
Yes, they got to take it to him a little quicker on offense. I think Halifax West has got to get that ball up and get into their offense a little bit quicker. It took a lot of time last time coming up court, especially if he makes both of these. They're down 6 then.
And Mantley does make the first.
No, he was very cool on the line then. He just drilled it. Again, a lot of teams have made a run at QE in these situations. Usually, they come up short. I've seen it happen time and time again this year.
Roworth with the ball. Minute and 18 left. Into Dunbar. Pass off to McCutcheon, and he lays it in. 4-point game once more. Bentley with the ball. Bringing it up. Jones, pressure on him. Passes over to Gross. He goes up.
Oh, big hoop. Big hoop there by Brian Gross.
And that puts him up 6. Roworth with the ball, spin dribbles, puts up a 15-footer, bang!
Oh, great shot out there.
They won't quit, they won't quit. And a timeout by the Queen Elizabeth High Lions. 61-57 with 42 seconds left.
Well, it's coming right down to the wire. QE is still in control of the basketball game, but a 4-point lead is not a big lead. They have the ball and a 4-point lead, but a steal, and it can be a 2-point lead off a quick, and then it is anybody's ball game. But they're so quick, and they've been in these situations so many times. Bobby Douglas has got a lot of faith in that crew, and rightfully so. They got some excellent athletes there, and I really think they can handle this kind of pressure. They seem to get that 10-point lead, give a little bit of it back from you, but the minute you make a couple of mistakes, they'll poke it right back up there.
That's probably the greatest accolade one can attribute to the team as a whole, is that they respond to pressure from other teams so well. Just like a horse race. They keep their nose out in front, and they don't relinquish anything. They play as tough as they have to. And they're certainly playing tonight with the consistency that they've shown all year. And Halifax West are playing a great game in their own right.
Okay, Bobby is going with his 4 veterans and Augie Jones. And I think he feels that Brian Gross just been in more tough situations than Laval. And right now, he'd be better off going with him. Even though he hasn't played a lot of basketball lately. And Brian certainly came up with a big basket for him right late in the game. Very key situation. If they hadn't had that hoop, it could be a different ball game.
It'd be a 2-point game right now.
On the foul line for 2, he makes it.
Bentley makes it.
1-and-1 situation, that was a big one. I thought they called a timeout before the foul over there, but I guess they didn't.
Here goes Mantley with his second attempt. Attempt to go up 6. It's off.
Oh, another big one.
And Brian Gross with another big play.
Yes, Brian Gross with a big rebound there. And he's going to the line for 2.
If he can make these, or even one of them, it should pretty well put the icing on the cake.
I would say if they have a 5-point lead now, that in itself is enough. If he makes both of these, the game's over. There's no way that in 39 seconds that West can get those back. Misses his first one.
Just 39 seconds left on the clock. 39 ticks left. Not much for West.
Now they have to get the ball up quite quickly and get a shot off. And that's not a good situation to be in. Brian with a clutch foul shot makes it a 6-point game.
And Roworth wasting no time bringing the ball up the floor.
He got fouled.
We have a blocking foul on Chris Mantley. And that's what QE doesn't want to do.
I really think the foul was on, they called it on Chris Mantley, but Augie Jones fouled him before that out front.
And in a way, you don't want to do that now because they have a chance to close the score without
the clock. That's
taking
right.
any time, yes.
That's the best thing. The best thing that could happen to the West is have a foul call. That's where all the hard practice and training comes in. You have to concentrate and get that thing over the front of the rim. And Chris did just that and got the bounce.
Here's Roworth with his second attempt. And he makes it. And we're going to have some full court pressure here now by the West, but
Manley
easily
comes
broken.
out of there and breaks it easily. And that was a key foul. They had to make that foul. Put Chris on the line for a 1-and-1 again.
Because you know QE is just would be content to run the clock out as any team would with a.
Well, certainly they're going to try to use as much of it as they can.
So 4-point difference. West refusing to die.
Yes, it is down to 4 now. A missed 1-and-1 right here. And a basket by Halifax West will make this an interesting last few seconds, that's for sure. But if Chris can just make one of these, it makes it the odd number, the 5 points, and that's very important. And he does. Very important foul shot there.
Clutch foul shooting by Mantley.
Yeah, that's like putting the nails in the coffin. Mantley makes both of them. Game's up to a 6-point lead again now. Chris Rower to the ball.
30 seconds left. Roworth over in the corner to McCutcheon. Back to Roworth. He fakes it. Puts up a shot, and it goes. What a clutch shot. And Sullivan with
Another
a foul.
foul. They got to go for the ball, though. There's no choice. They have to foul.
Yes, a desperation situation now for the West. Just 16 seconds left. Anything can happen, mind you, but it's looking awfully good now for QE.
Again, if he misses the 1-and-1, there's still some possibilities, but they're getting slimmer because the clock keeps getting eaten up out there. It doesn't go fast enough for Bobby Douglas, and it's going much too fast for Nick Morris.
Here's Wade Smith. Had a fine game. It's off. He missed the 1-on-1. Loose ball. Scramble. And Chris Mantley coming up with it.
The quickness of Chris Mantley coming up with a loose ball. He has done that so many times. And it's just unbelievable the number of times he does that in the game. Every time a ball is bouncing around, he seems to come up with it.
Yes, he seems to be the king of the loose ball recoveries.
Well, if he isn't, I don't know who is.
Seems to have hurt his leg on that last play.
A little bang on the knee. I think he's going to feel great after this game, though, because he won't even know he's got that injury in a few minutes here.
9 seconds left.
Yes.
Mantley with a 1-on-1.
And, of course, he's been very tough on that foul line. And, again, he makes it.
No mistake.
He has made some clutch foul shots down the end. If he hadn't made these foul shots, the West could have got back in this game. But I think he's hit 5 in the last 3 minutes here, and this could be a 6th one.
And he misses the second.
Oh, bad foul there.
Foul on Jason Wilson.
They've allowed that kind of contact to go all night long. That's a strange time to go.
And with 7 seconds left, it's a 66-61 game. Mike Dunbar going to the line. Seems to be academic now. They'd almost need 2 more fouls by QE in a situation which
pretty
doesn't seem
impossible
likely.
situation here. Mike Dunbar makes one off the backboard. I don't know if he was trying to miss that or not, but anyway, the ball went in.
It could be intentional at this point. The second one might be for sure.
There wouldn't really be any reason for it to be intentional.
No, not on the first
Chris
shot.
Mantley with the rebound again.
What a tough game. And the ball is knocked out of bounds.
It's going to be QE's ball out, and I think the game is over.
3 seconds away. 1 second away. Well, as they say sometimes, Coach, it's gone down to the bitter end.
Well, QE is starting to celebrate now, but they didn't celebrate until 1 second was left on the clock.
No, West pressed them the whole time.
That's a tribute to Halifax West, the respect that they have for Halifax West.
And West never quit during this game.
No, that's true. It's been one heck of a basketball game.
Wade Smith with the first foul shot. all academic at this point. And every QE player has played well today. Rebound by Chris Mantley.
Yes, and
Appropriately at the buzzer.
tipped it in for a 69-62 win. But everybody that was here knows that the spread of 7 points wasn't quite realistic. It was a very, very close, tough-fought contest all the way until the point where QE got that 10-point lead, and then Halifax West didn't give up. They kept coming back at them.
And it seemed to me that the third quarter was the deciding factor, Gary, in that game, where QE coming from a 1-point deficit at the half to take a 10-point lead at three-quarter time.
Well, I've said time and time and time again that the most important part during a basketball game, momentum-wise, is the few seconds right after halftime, and or the few minutes right after halftime. And the few minutes right after halftime then was all QE, and Jason Wilson come out and got a couple of key baskets, and they got ahead right during that period of time and controlled that third period. And the game was over right there.
Okay, Coach, thanks. And we have Bobby Douglas coming over for an interview, so we're going to go out and talk with him.